Hello, everybody. Jim Lurie here with my colleague, Don Allen. And it's the end of the quarter again. It's analyst call day, morning of. And we're here to give you an update. It'll be relatively brief today because we have the all-employee global town hall next Tuesday. And looking forward to that. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time, be about an hour and a half virtual town meeting. So hopefully everyone will participate in that, and looking forward to that, as I said. And so today we announced a record quarter. It was a fabulous showing. Our organic growth was up 16%. We had record operating margins for the fourth quarter, record cash flow for the year for the company. I'm not going to go through it all. It was truly remarkable in terms of the performance that you delivered. And, Don will tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But my goal today is just a couple things. The first is just want to be incredibly thankful to all of you for what was accomplished, and the teamwork and the collaboration that existed in 2020 and on into 2021 has been truly phenomenal. It doesn't matter whether it's teamwork within the business teams or the functions, or between the businesses and the functions, or between corporate and the businesses and the functions, or within businesses or functions within the teams. It's just been incredibly inspiring. And it's something we've worked hard to try to catalyze and facilitate over the years. But it truly came together in 2020 for us at a time when we needed it more than ever. And really, a very tough operating environment. We had not only the professional challenges and the volatility, which has been extraordinary as we look back at the past 12 months, but also the massive personal challenges that many of us, if not all of us, faced. And there's so many different types of personal challenges, trying to manage families and school and work at home with remote learning, and then kids going to school, and maybe in some cases people that have elderly parents and trying to figure out how to make that work, and in some cases people living alone and trying to fight the everyday battle of loneliness as you kind of are isolated from the interactions that we normally have during these times. I mean, I could go on all day with all the challenges that I'm aware of, and it's been incredibly stressful, from a personal point of view. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that Don, myself, the senior team, we all appreciate these situations and what you're going through. And I think the watchword of the day is flexibility. We have to have flexibility so that our people can get done what they need to do in their personal lives, and they can thrive in their professional lives at the same time. And keep it all together. And I know this is disproportionately hard on women because they generally carry a larger burden of the family responsibilities. But I just want to let everybody know that it's not just women. And there's minorities that are impacted in different ways as well. We care about everybody, and we certainly empathize with everybody. But going back to the performance for a minute, a record performance, record year. The collaboration, the teamwork. I will say that, just quickly, the global tools and storage business carried us this year in a big way. I mean, their fourth quarter organic growth was 25%, and they had a record operating margin, the second record quarter in a row for operating margin. That 25% growth is like nothing, we've ever experienced. However, I would say the other businesses also made incredible progress, whether it was the industrial businesses or the businesses within security. Everybody contributed. We raised the bar for margins. So even though some of those businesses had negative revenue growth for the year, they were all mostly getting better as the year went on and as we exited the year. But also their operating margin rates in general were up a couple hundred basis points versus prior times when we've had trough type of revenue performance based on the economy. So we're also very pleased that those businesses will be helping support us in 2021, because the tools business, while it's going to have a gangbuster first half, is going to be up against some major challenges in the second half. When you run up a comparable of 25% growth like we have in the fourth quarter, it's hard to hurdle over that, if not impossible. So as they face into some of those difficult comps, it's going to be the industrial businesses and the security businesses that kick in and provide some of that cyclical boost to enable the company to keep moving forward. And then, of course, we have MTD to look forward to as well. And I could go through the tremendous contributions that we've observed this year from all the different functions as well, whether it's finance somehow, working remotely and getting us through this pandemic with our accounts and records properly stated, with the ability to program our financial planning, keep our liquidity in shape. I mean, the list is endless in all our commercial finance people and, helping drive the execution, the operations finance people and so on. So finance, great job, great leadership done. And I could say the same thing about all the functional leaders, whether it's operations. I mean, the challenges that operations faced and overcame in 2020 were like nothing that we've ever experienced. Truly a heroic performance. Our employee health and safety folks taking our number one priority, which was keeping our employees safe during this pandemic, and driving protocols and routines into every corner of the company, enabling us to help save lives and so on during that time frame. And the IT folks who managed to keep us alive and well on Zoom so that we could continue to run the company. The HR folks that have given us so much insight into leadership in this era and how important empathy and authenticity is, and just being flexible, as I mentioned before, all these different things. So the HR people really enlightened us to all that. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the communications leads and Shannon, Kristen, all those folks in that organization really worked hard and worked effectively to make sure that one of the most important things in a crisis is communication. And I think they did a world-class job in that regard. And we're very thankful for them as well as all the other functions. So as you can see, I have a tremendous amount of gratitude and thanks for all of you. I think, you should be very proud. Tomorrow we have the Day of Thanks, the company-wide Day of Thanks. Every one of our 53,000 employees is going to get a day off. Many of them will get that tomorrow on the 29th. And those that can't do that for local reasons, whether it's production or distribution or other reasons, customer-based issues, you will get a day, and we will make sure that every employee in this company gets a day off, which is courtesy of our senior management team. And that just, it's the first time we've ever done that. It kind of goes to show you how appreciative we really are. And the other thing I just wanted to mention was make sure we keep our focus on health and safety. We've done a good job so far, although we have had about 2,200 cases of COVID, which represents about 3% of the employee population have contracted COVID. We have had 71 cases where work was somehow involved with that contraction of COVID. In most cases, it was associated with community spread. But there were a couple cases, 71 cases, including 69 on one of our oil and gas projects. Fortunately, those 69 people have cleared, and there have been no critical situations in that regard. And so we have 2 that were just contracted recently, and we'll see, and we'll pray for them and hope that all goes well too. And all the folks that have been affected. But the reason I bring that up is this is a life and death situation in this pandemic, and it's incumbent upon all of us to take it very seriously and take those protocols very seriously. And as the vaccine start to become available in different jurisdictions around the company, we want to make sure that every one of our employees that can take a vaccine, it gets vaccinated. And we're going to be working on a massive educational campaign across our employee base to make sure that happens. So with that, I'm going to say thank you one more time and then turn it over to Don, who's going to give you probably the most enjoyable financial report of his Stanley Black & Decker career. Don?
Great. Thank you, Jim. And I would agree that this fourth quarter and frankly, the year of 2020 has just been outstanding from a financial performance perspective when it was all said and done. It was quite a interesting journey to get to the end of the year. And we saw a lot of downs and then a lot of ups in the back half. And so when we closed out the fourth quarter, as Jim said, the organic growth for tools and storage was 25% in the fourth quarter, which is just, if you step back and think about that, you don't need to be a math major. When you think about 25%, that is just a massive increase on a business that is annualized revenue of $10 billion. And so, congratulations to the tools team. What a wonderful performance. And you brought the profitability with it, as your profitability in the fourth quarter was over 20%. And what's great about the rest of the company is that we're seeing really nice improvement in our industrial segment and our security segment. So both those businesses, organic growth was down modestly in the fourth quarter, but they had experienced some significant organic declines in Q2 and Q3. So sequentially getting much better. And it really does make us feel more confident that they are positioned for growth organically in 2021. And Jim mentioned the comp we have to deal with in the back half of 2021 for tools. But to know we have, about 25% of the company, positioned to grow for the full year in those two segments while we work through those comps makes us feel much better about the situation. I would say that as we think about 2021, the momentum is very strong. Obviously, you see that in our tools business in the fourth quarter, but it continues to be strong in Q1 and likely in Q2. We'll have some comp challenges in the back half, but the markets may continue to be strong for the whole year. We just don't know exactly how this centering around the home is going to last and how much momentum that will create in our tools business during 2021. So we're preparing ourselves and our operations team to be ready if the volume is stronger in the back half of the year. And the markets are improving in the other two segments, as I mentioned. So we actually think for the year, all three segments will demonstrate organic growth. All three segments will demonstrate profitability margin rate improvement year over year, about 50 to 60 basis points. And the EPS for 2021, we're projecting the midpoint of it to be about $10 EPS. And in 2020, we closed the year over just over $9. So that'll be a dollar accretion year over year, which is quite significant. But we've really positioned ourselves well with strong markets, with the controlling of our costs as we've worked through the year. Now we're investing for growth as well. And so we're actually making sure that we take advantage of those growth opportunities to gain more share in 21 and of course in 2022. And then the cash flow, the last thing I'd say is the cash flow. Cash flow was amazing for 2020, $1.7 billion, a record. We've never even gotten close to that type of number before. And now we think next year will be about $1.5 billion. So 2 years of combined total of well over $3 billion of cash flow. And we all know what that does. That generates cash flow so we can invest in our company organically in capital expenditures and make sure we're doing all the right things in our operation systems, technology-wise and people-wise. But it also frees up capital to do acquisitions in the future as we continue to build out our portfolio. And clearly we mentioned today that MTD is one of our key priorities in that area. Hopefully we can make that happen in early 2022. So I'm so excited for the financial performance. It was a really wonderful experience to do that earnings call this morning and just talk about not only the great numbers of the last year, but also the great view we have for the next 12 months. And so I thank all of you for what you've done to get us to this point. And I do recognize that these are really challenging times and you're doing everything in your power to balance the needs of your family, your friends, and your career. And we greatly appreciate you doing that. And we will continue to work with you to make sure that we prioritize the right things so you can have that balance. And as we drift to one side or the other, we'll make sure that we pivot, we adjust, and we have that flexibility that Jim said to ensure our success. Because I really think that's a big success of our culture, is having that flexibility, having that agility, and recognizing that our people come first, and then the performance comes out of that. So thank you very much. Enjoy the day of thanks for those of you who are taking it off tomorrow. And if you're not, enjoy it later in the quarter. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Don. That's very inspiring, and our people are very inspiring, and it's just a great time to be part of this team, part of this company. Fabulous, fabulous group of people. I'm not going to say a lot more. That really don't need to say much more than that, I don't think. We're looking forward to seeing you all of you, hopefully on Tuesday at the town hall. We're going to share a lot more detail about not only how we did, but some of the building blocks to get to where we want to go. And not only that, but we'll tell you where we want to go by 2025. It'll be an exciting time. So have a great day of thanks. Have a great weekend. Get some rest and get recharged, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be very successful. Lots of opportunity ahead. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.